along the lines of renewable energy. Excited about having our next panel discussion. So if you all can come up. Linda Parker, you all know and love Linda Parker. Linda Parker Consulting. We got Kemp Gregory with Renewell Energy. He actually moved his company from Texas to California. So come on up. Lorelei mentioned Hydrostor, a $1.5 billion project. Curt Hildebrand will be also giving an update on their company's project in the Rosamond area. Armando, Infanzon with SoCal Gas, and Melinda Palmer with Kern Energy, all types of energy, right? So we're excited. Linda's gonna take it from here. Thanks.
Well, good morning, and thank you for being here today. Gosh, it seems like we've had so many of these summits, and they've been wonderful every time we have them. But the first thing I want to say is, Lorelei, your 5-year challenge, I'm sure this room happily accepts that. We are the energy capital of the West. And we have every generation source that you can imagine with the oil and gas, with all of the new innovations that they're doing, with the wind, solar, renewable gases. Everything that we're doing here is because we know it's important to Kern County and it's important to the state of California. We have a wonderful panel here with a bunch of new, innovative, and old, but newer technologies that we're going to be moving forward to in Kern County. And I get a number of calls, actually I get a lot of calls, to discuss the energy transition in Kern County. Well, I will tell you, I never say it's a transition. Kern County started that transition decades ago when we started to get in renewables. And today, I always refer to it as an energy evolution because Kern County is evolving. We're constantly evolving with new technologies. And I think those innovative technologies, what makes Kern County wonderful. Not to mention, we have a great planning director. She is very creative. She said courageous or what your word was, but anyhow, she is clever. She is the creative one. She may come across as really mad at us, but she is always the one that comes up with a solution. She is the reason that we all move forward. And she's right. If it's a no, believe me, it's a no. But I'm not sure I've heard that before. We've had a lot of success in what we're doing. So without further ado, we have a great panel today. And I'm going to let them tell you what they're doing because I think what they're doing today is extremely important. So first, we're going to have Kemp Gregory from Renewell. He's going to speak to us. And like Richard said, I kind of asked him, everybody's leaving California and you're coming to go to Texas, but he's coming from Texas to California. And I'm like, wow, but that's great. We need that kind of stuff. So anyway, go ahead and give us your take.
Great. I can't tell you how many times I would tell people that I moved from Texas, and I still have Texas license plates. Don't tell the DMV. And that would always, people would be like, well, are you sure you're in the right direction? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here on purpose. I moved my family here about 2 years ago. But before that, I was a grad student at Stanford. And before that, I was a completions engineer for Shell. And I got to work in West Texas and Canada and Argentina. And it was when I was living in Argentina that I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to go onto the clean energy side of things. So story picked up when I learned that renewables have a desperate need for energy storage. And the oil and gas industry has a desperate need in terms of what to do with all these idle wells. So in short, what Renewell does is we're an early stage startup that takes idle oil and gas wells and converts them into gravity-based energy storage. effectively a big mechanical battery. And so how we do that is with a weight, a winch, and a wire. We simply move a weight up and down inside the well about once a day at about 1 mile an hour. And when we're lifting the weight up using grid power, that means we're charging the battery. And when we're lowering the weight down, that means we're discharging the battery. I keep doing air quotes because it's not an actual battery from an electrochemical sense. It's a big mechanical battery. But we came to Kern County because this is the place to be. And I'm happy to announce that we have a commercial pilot that will be up and running by the end of the year with California Resources Corporation and their Elk Hills field. Yeah, so CRC is moving the ball forward in lots of directions. We're happy to be partners with them. They're obviously growing and commercializing in all sorts of creative ways, and we're ecstatic to be a part of that.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, I can keep going.
Well, if you like, you have a few more minutes if
Great.
you want to.
Okay, so a lot of the questions that we get are like, how can you know whether or not a well is suitable or not? There's over 2 million idle oil and gas wells in the United States. There's about 40,000 in California alone. And so what we've done is we've developed a proprietary software tool that can go scrape PDFs from any given state regulator's database. And then what we do is we use the latest in optical character recognition and large language models to take that information and then put it into something that can decipher whether or not a well is suitable. It makes pretty cool maps. So you can imagine all the wells in California mapped out in a heat map sense. So that gives us an incredible amount of insight into whether or not certain companies have the right wells for us. Obviously, CRC is at the very top of that list, and that's why we started with them. But other companies in LA or Ventura area, these are companies that we're extremely interested in working with. So a little bit later, we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of the regulatory world, and where Renewell sits is rather interesting in that we're on both sides of that question. And what I mean is, we ran a bill last year. This year. We ran a bill last session, and it was going to effectively create a world in which oil and gas companies would be properly incentivized to convert their idle wells into our technology, gravity wells. Unfortunately, it got held up in the Assembly Appropriations Committee because the state is in a $68 billion deficit. And so that put a bit of a price tag or a target on any bill that had a price tag associated with it. But we are both trying to drive legislation to create a world in which gravity wells are properly incentivized and oil and gas operators know that they can convert a well and have some regulatory security. But we're also on the other side in the sense that we want things to move faster. We want permits to move faster. We want regulations to clear up. And any amount of effort that goes in that direction would certainly help a sort of young and early stage startup like myself. So we're about a team of 7, and yeah, we've got this one pilot with CRC, but we're very eager to raise more money and build more installations right here in Kern County.
That's great, Kemp. Thank you. That's wonderful. So next you're going to hear, and we'll probably hear all day long about streamlining CEQA or in permitting. So that's going to be an all-day discussion. Next we have Curt Hildebrand. He is with Hydrostor, and he's going to give you a synopsis of his project that he's working on in Eastern Kern County.
Thanks, Linda, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Again, I'm representing Hydrostor, and we're proud to be developing our Willow Rock Energy Storage Center in East Kern, just outside of Rosamond. The Willow Rock Energy Storage Center will be a 500 megawatt by 8-hour long duration energy storage facility. And when we say long duration, we heard Lorelei talk about batteries and the need for storage. One data point that a lot of people don't understand, in California, our peak load is on the order, the Cal ISO system is on the order of 50 gigawatts. Today, we have about 50 gigawatts of solar PV installed in California. But as we all know, the sun doesn't shine all the time. So we have a dramatic need for all sorts of storage technologies. We fully support all of the above on the menu items for batteries, advanced compressed air, everything we can get our hands on, because we do have a growing resource of renewable generation in the state and around the state. But we do not have the capacity currently to store that cheap, clean energy and utilize it when it's really needed in the peak hours. So our long duration energy solution, again, we store energy for 8 hours. Most of the batteries that are being installed around California are typically 2 to 4 hour lithium ion batteries. They're great when they're needed. Again, they have fairly short duration. But in order to have a reliable grid with all these intermittent renewables on our system, we need a combination of shorter duration and longer duration storage technologies. Our solution is in what we call advanced compressed air energy technology. We've been working on this for over a decade. We actually have taken the best aspects of traditional compressed air energy, where you compress ambient air, store it. That's an energy source or a charged battery, if you will. When you need that generation to turn that battery around, you decompress the air, send it through a turbo expander, generate electricity. The older compressed air technology utilized natural gas to reheat the air. We've been able to perfect our technology where we store our waste heat and reutilize it. So our facility will be greenhouse gas emissions free during operation, and it will employ up to 700 people during construction. We have a very significant undertaking. It'll be about 4.5 years of construction, over $1.5 billion in investment. And I'm proud to let folks know we do have our first customer already lined up for 200 megawatts of offtake. And we're making very good progress on the commercial side of the project. On the development side, the permitting side, we talked a little bit about the Energy Commission earlier this morning. We were embraced by the Energy Commission as jurisdictional pursuant to their regulations. Their mandate, again, is for power plants that are 50 megawatts or larger in size and thermal in nature. We don't burn natural gas, but nonetheless, we were deemed to be a thermal power plant. We're currently before the Energy Commission in an application for certification process. That's by regulation about a 12-month process, but in reality, it's much more extensive. We do expect permits to be received in about 9 months' time, and we do expect to start construction in Q4 of next year and be operational in early 2030. I'll have some more details on our project as well, but Linda, if we could show the video of our technology. It's kind of hard to describe, but our video does let folks know what we're up to.
Hydrostor, Advanced Compressed Air Energy Storage, is a cost-effective, emission-free storage solution that can be sited where needed, delivering hundreds of megawatts and 4 to 24 hours of long-duration bulk energy storage. The system consists of 3 main components. First, the plant, which includes a compressor and turbine generator, thermal management system, and balance of plant equipment. Second, a closed-loop water reservoir, providing hydrostatic compensation to maintain the system at a near constant pressure during operation. Lastly, the system utilizes subsurface infrastructure, which is constructed using proven industry-standard mining techniques, including a blind bore shaft and purpose-built air caverns. Here's how it works. The system uses off-peak or surplus energy from the grid or a renewable source to run the compressor, which produces heated compressed air. Heat generated during compression is extracted from the airstream and captured by the thermal management system for later reuse. This adiabatic process, which uses sensible heat storage, increases overall efficiency and eliminates the need for fossil fuels during operation. Once the heat is extracted, The compressed air is sent underground and stored in purpose-built caverns where it is hydrostatically compensated, displacing water up the shaft and into the closed-loop reservoir. The system is now fully charged, capable of delivering power on demand over a standby period ranging from hours to days. When power is required, hydrostatic pressure forces the compressed air to the surface. It is reheated by the thermal management system, reusing the heat from compression and expanded through the turbine to generate electricity on demand. No fuels are used in the process, resulting in zero emissions. This method of charging and discharging significantly reduces water and land requirements, removing siting constraints and resulting in minimal environmental impact. Hydrostor Advanced Case is as reliable as pumped hydropower, but without the geographic or siting constraints. The key benefits of Hydrostor Advanced Compressed Air Energy Storage are bulk-scale long-duration energy storage, delivering hundreds of megawatts and 4 to 24 hours of duration. Low installed cost per kilowatt hour with no fuel costs. No hazardous chemicals or use of fossil fuels. A proprietary built air accumulator allows for flexible project siting. System life up to 50 years with effective unlimited cycling. Built entirely from bankable equipment from Tier 1 OEM suppliers with decades of proven operation, providing low development risk through performance guarantees and bonding availability. Charge, discharge, and storage capacity are set independently to optimize system design. Synchronous generation provides rotational inertia, supporting electrical grid stability and resiliency. The system also delivers voltage support, spinning reserve, black start, and frequency response. Adiabatic process reuses heat from compression, resulting in enhanced round-trip efficiency. Hydrostor's technology is uniquely suited to help address electricity system needs for dispatchable capacity, including fossil plant and mine repurposing, as well as renewable integration, transmission deferral, and behind-the-meter or remote applications for mines and large industrial operations. Hydrostor, Advanced Compressed Air Energy Storage.
I'll just conclude by saying we're working very closely with Lorelei and Kern County in our development of Willow Rock. It's been outstanding to work with such a supportive community and county department, and overall things are going very well. We look forward to a long 50-year service life here in Kern County with our Willow Rock project.
That's wonderful, and as you, yes. You know, innovation is something that Kern County is, it's just wonderful to be here. Our next speaker is going to be Armando Infanzon. He is with the California Gas Company, and he's going to present what they're doing in a new, innovative, renewable gas space. Oh, and he has a presentation that you'll need to load, or put up.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Oh, is your speaker on right here? There you go.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the invitation to participate in this great event. This is my third year, so very excited to see how this event is evolving and embracing new clean energy. I'm Armando Infanzon. I'm the Director of Clean Energy Business Development for SoCalGas. Let me see if it works. SoCalGas is the largest natural gas distribution company in the country. We serve over 21 million customers across a very extensive service territory that goes from Central California all the way down in Southern California to the border in Mexico. I'm originally from Mexico. I moved to California for college and stay here ever since then. Happy to call California home, so every time that I go and work on a project outside California, I'm very excited to come back and engage with great communities like Kern County. Next one is a video. Hopefully it will work, so I will cross my fingers.
Over 150 years ago, the streets of Los Angeles were dark. An innovative company, Pacific Lighting, was founded to bring light to the city, safety and vitality to the streets, and propel Southern California to the forefront of the global economy. Today, that company, SoCalGas, serves 1 out of 15 Americans and is evolving to become a leader in the clean energy transition. With groundbreaking projects like Angeles Link and the H2 Innovation Experience,
A microgrid takes power from solar panels and converts it to hydrogen.
that can help California and the world decarbonize. To achieve its mission, SoCalGas is advancing its sustainability strategy across all operations through the Aspire 2045 Action Plan by accelerating the transition to clean energy, protecting the climate, and improving air quality in our communities, increasing clean energy access and affordability, advancing a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture, and achieving world-class safety through a safety-forward culture. To the dedicated people that make up SoCalGas, these are more than just numbers and figures. They represent SoCalGas's aspiration and commitment to empower all future generations. Doing the right thing, championing people, shaping the future.
So a couple years, we adopted our sustainability strategy to be net zero by 2045, not only for our operations, but also for the energy that we deliver. In order to embark this journey, we working in different pathways. So today I'm going to talk about 3 of them. The first one is renewable natural gas. In 2022, the CPUC adopted a renewable gas standard of 12.2% of the core volumes for the natural gas utilities in the state by 2030. As part of this journey in the natural gas world, today we have 10 RNG projects interconnected to our system. 8 of them are in Central California, 2 of them in Riverside. Of those 10, the 8 facilities in Central California are producing renewable natural gas coming from dairies projects, and the ones in Southern California are related to diverted organic waste. We're very excited to work in the community in Kern County to embracing this new source of clean source for displacing traditional gas with renewable natural gas, and look forward for new projects that can come and interconnect in order to support the objective of the 12.2 that the Commission established for us. Today, we're delivering approximately 5% of our core volumes with renewable natural gas, and we aiming to achieve 20% by 2030, so we can support the SB 1440 target. In the space of hydrogen, at SoCalGas, we believe that hydrogen will play a critical role to achieve the state's decarbonization goals. We view basically 3 sectors that can benefit from clean renewable hydrogen. The first one is the transportation. About 38% of the emissions in California come from the transportation, and hydrogen could be a great solution for the heavy-duty industry to transition from diesel to clean fuel for hydrogen trucks. When you look to the stats, the ports in LA area, they have registered 20,000 trucks that come every day to the ports. There's a great potential not only to reduce the emissions, but also to improve the air quality in those communities. Hydrogen can also play a role on the power generation by transitioning the existing natural gas fleet to hydrogen fuel and continue providing reliability to the electric grid as the clean, firm generation will be needed to provide that reliability and resiliency for the energy in California. And finally, hydrogen can play a key role on the hard-to-electrify, hard-to-abate sectors in the industrial area. There are some processes that comprise our existing economy in California that requires high heat, so hydrogen can play a key role. With this in mind, as we mentioned in the video, we launched Angelus Link. Angelus Link, it could be one of the largest clean renewable hydrogen infrastructure projects in the country. Basically, with this project, we're trying to connect producers of clean renewable hydrogen with users across Southern California. Hydrogen can provide significant opportunities to support the decarbonization goals, improve the air quality, and continue supporting the state's objectives across the different value chains. Basically, Angelus Link for SoCalGas, we want to participate and leverage our 150 years of pipeline expertise in deploying that infrastructure. For SoCalGas, we want to participate just on the pipeline component, but we want to support the different components of the hydrogen value chain by connecting producers of hydrogen with users across Southern California. This project, as was approved by the Commission in late 2023, we embarked on phase one that we studied different components from production, pipeline routes, and different technical aspects. One of the important aspects in these projects is engagement with community. So as part of this project, we had an early engagement with the community that we will be impacted and could benefit from the benefits of these projects. So very excited to partner with the communities, partner with different advisory groups as part of this engagement. And finally, as well as we working on hydrogen pipelines, we would like to also participate in the space of CO2 value infrastructure. So SoCalGas, we would like to leverage our pipeline and explore different projects on CO2 pipelines that will support the state goal that has of 100 million tons for capture, right? We want to support with the transportation component for different use cases, including carbon dioxide removal for those direct air capture facilities that cannot collocate with sequestration, that will be required to be at a distance from the sequestration to be able to participate and provide that transportation. But also on the existing point source emissions. So California have very important industries like cement, among others, that will require a transportation of that CO2 as part of their strategies to decarbonize, and also some of those states' goals that we had in place for certain industries like cement. As part of our vision, we're working on different projects. We're proud for SoCalGas to be a member of the California Hub. So we're working with companies like CRC and among others and communities, groups to bring forward that project that was selected by DOE for an award. But we're also looking in another larger potential pipeline trunk line systems to connect the existing emissions that we have from different hard-to-abate industries, as well as the expected emissions coming from the different sources like blue hydrogen. So very excited to be part of this community and continue working on clean energies to leverage all the existing workforce and the engagement with the community that we have today.
Well, you guys are going to be very busy. Thank you, Armando. Appreciate that. Now you're going to hear from Melinda Palmer. She's the Vice President in Regulatory and Public Affairs for Kern Energy, and they have a big year coming up. So I'll let you let her tell you about it.
Good morning, everybody. Melinda Palmer representing Kern Energy, which maybe some of you are more familiar with Kern Oil and Refining Company, but for those of you who are not, we rebranded about 2 years ago to Kern Energy. For us, it was a better reflection of who we are and where we're going. Kern Energy is a transportation fuel producer and a renewable pioneer. We are small but mighty. We're a small refinery located out near Lamont, just a few miles from here. We produce about 10,000 barrels per day of gasoline and of diesel. So it represents 1% of the gasoline and about 3% of the diesel in the state of California. We have a small team of 200 that do that day in, day out, bringing those vital transportation fuels to our community here. We are taking a pragmatic approach, kind of an all of the above approach to the energy evolution. I totally agree with Linda on that. And even though Lorelei pointed out earlier where our state has put mandates in place and we have deadlines where internal combustion engine vehicles, those we traditionally are familiar with, are to be phased out of sales from California, the reality is that we still have decades that those will be on our streets, that those will be getting people to work and to school and everywhere they need to go. And we are going to need liquid fuels for many decades yet to come. So our approach to that is to consistently provide those to you and do it in a way that we can improve upon what we already have, using our existing infrastructure, our existing talent, making those improvements and incremental benefits, at the same time that we're innovating towards something new and bringing next generation renewable fuels to the market. Our portfolio might change over time, but then again, it always has. For us, our only constant has been change. So we're happy to be here, we're happy to be contributing. And as Linda pointed out, we are celebrating a big milestone this year, 90 years of continuous operation. We are the only small refinery. Thank you. Kern Energy is the only small refinery remaining in California producing both gasoline and diesel. We're the only one producing fuels between the major complexes in the Bay Area and Southern California. So we think it's pretty monumental to still be in continuous operation for those 90 years. And I will leave you with just a small video that we've put together to help celebrate that.
Perfect. Okay, so now we've had that, but I'm going to allow each of them about 2 minutes, because we still have plenty of time, to pick between two questions. And one of them is, what new regulations do you see impacting your industry, which some of you have already spoken? And the other one is what are the main benefits of doing business in Kern County? So, Kemp, you start first.
Great. Sorry, folks, that we didn't get to see my video earlier, but maybe some other time. Okay, so how have the regulations been impacting us? For those of you who either know someone who's managing idle wells or manage idle wells yourselves, you know it's been a fairly dynamic space, especially with some of the bills that have been passed in this last session. And so we just stay on top of all that because what to do with all those idle wells is a question that affects everybody. I think I remember a stat saying that something like 72% of all the counties in California have at least an idle well in them. So it really is a statewide issue, although obviously focused in certain areas. So when the state decides to change the regime of how they're expecting those idle wells to be cleaned up, we stay tuned into that. We effectively want to be another tool for oil and gas companies to manage their idle wells, so that tearing them down or filling them full of cement and tearing down the power lines is just, it's not part of Lorelei's renew mentality, right? And Renewell, I wish we could have planned that in advance. Renewell is very much part of the renew mentality. So yeah, we're sort of riding the waves of what the state says needs to happen to all those idle wells while still trying to wave our banner, yelling at as loud as we can, like, hey, there's a better way than simply filling them full of cement and cutting their heads off.
I didn't know you had, we can play it.
Yeah, play the video.
Sure. I didn't know you had one. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, I should have prompted you, I'm sorry, but
That's fine. I'm sorry. Hey, so now he's going to best his
Renewell
last kind of thing.
solves two
So here we
problems
go.
for our
There you
environment.
go.
The first problem is the 2.5 million orphaned and idle oil and gas wells in North America that all must be cleaned up. When wells are no longer economically viable, they are required to be plugged and abandoned, involving several cement plugs and surface remediation. But this process can cost more than $300,000 for a single well, and in many cases, much more. At the current rate, it will take 100 years to clean up all of those wells, and will cost the U.S. economy $400 billion. That is simply too slow and too expensive. The second problem is that solar and wind produce power intermittently. Clean power needs to be stored to be able to power the grid 24/7. The main way we store energy today in the U.S. is pumped hydro, but there are too few suitable sites to meet the required 10x increase in energy storage capacity. The fastest growing alternative is lithium-ion batteries, but they are too expensive and too short duration. Renewell's 2-in-1 solution works like this. First, a cement plug seals the well to prevent potential methane leakage. Then Renewell converts the well into a gravity well, a mechanical battery connected to the grid by existing power lines. Next, the weight descends, discharging power to the grid. This process is repeated daily when the electrical grid requires more energy. We expect 1 million wells are suitable for conversion in the U.S. at a lower cost than traditional plug and abandonment. Renewell will be creating more than 100 gigawatt hours of energy storage, uniquely capable of providing exactly what wind and solar need most to decarbonize the grid. Visit our website at renewellenergy.com to learn more about our mission and progress.
Kemp, I apologize, and that is pretty awesome. And as we all know, we have a lot of wells in Kern County, so it could be a busy time for you.
I'm hoping so.
All right, Curt, you want to go with the question that?
Certainly. What attracted us to do business in Kern County? The list is very long, but I'll begin with the singular most challenging facet of developing any power generation or power storage project in California, in the U.S., is interconnecting that project into the grid and finding capacity to do so. So that's one of the hard black and white sorts of decisions that developers make when they site their projects. We talked a little bit earlier about the Tehachapi Renewable Energy Transmission Project and the resources transmission-wise that Kern County benefits from and enjoys. We were fortunate enough to secure deliverability on that system, and hence our project moves forward. The more gray issues that developers look at when developing projects and making long-term investments is the business community and the opportunity to structure a mutually beneficial relationship long-term with our host communities. And Kern County has a well-earned reputation to be an outstanding host, a receptive community to new technology, new ideas. As Lorelei mentioned earlier, you got new ideas, bring them to Kern County. We couldn't be happier with our reception that we've received here. And personally, having been developing power plants in California for a lot of decades, this is by far the most welcoming community that I've enjoyed participating in. And the other gray areas that we look at, the workforce that is in existence today in the oil and gas and refining industries here in Kern County, as the energy transition does take place, we view that as a tremendous asset for Kern County and projects like ours, where you have a talented, well-educated workforce with experience in the same kind of equipment that we're going to be utilizing, pumps, compressors, heat exchangers. It's a great opportunity to transition that workforce, those work skills, into new industry for a long duration employment and mutually beneficial opportunities well into the future. So I could go on, but I know our time is limited.
Perfect. What question would you like?
Well, I can attack both
Okay.
pretty quickly. What brought us to Kern County? I mean, I think Kern County picked us. Obviously, you saw from our history there, we originated to refine oils from the Mountain View oil field, but obviously there's more that has kept us, and there's more that has kept us going and our resiliency over the years. But I think ultimately Kern County gets stuff done, and that's what keeps us here. And it takes a lot of fuel to make that happen. But I think we look at it that we fuel the people that fuel the state. And when we think about the energy that goes into producing for the oil and gas industry here, we think of the agriculture that takes place in Kern County. When we think of the major transportation hubs that exist here in the corridors that run through our state, like we really power California right out of Kern County. So that's why Kern County, obviously. Relative to challenges that we face from regulation, I could not put my finger on just one. There are so many, and I think we heard that from Lorelei earlier when it comes to kind of the villainization of our industry, particularly in the state right now. So it's coming from all directions. To me, the commonality there is that we're not looking at what the challenge actually is. We're seeing each other as the challenge. We see industry as the problem, when really what we're trying to solve and who we're up against is the carbon emissions, right? So when we can come together and work together on a challenge rather than see industry as the challenge, I think that's when we can get somewhere. And as we've heard from the others up here, there is amazing work going into combating the carbon emissions and getting to that molecule that is really at heart. So we appreciate the work that SoCal is doing. We've worked with Armando. We love the idea of hydrogen for decarbonization. I think what Kemp is doing to utilize existing infrastructure is fantastic. That's part of our all of the above approach. So attacking the real problem.
Absolutely, very well said. Armando, you want to finish this off then?
Sure, I will be short because the clock is red already. So, well, in terms of policy, at the state level, there's significant policy that has been established for this energy evolution. However, more policy is needed to continue advancing in order to achieve the goals that we have as a state and in order to be able to bring clean solutions to our communities. In terms of Kern County, we're part of this community. We have been part of this community for more than 100 years, right? And we appreciate the engagement that we have in the community. We would like to leverage our existing assets, and that includes our workforce, our infrastructure that we have in place, our know-how, and our relationship with the different groups that we engage every day here. So we would like to continue that engagement and bring clean energy for generations to come here in Kern County.
Thank you very much, Armando. We want to say thank you. Everybody will be here if you have any particular questions afterwards, and we look forward to hearing the remaining speakers. And just remember, it's Kern County is evolving. It's an evolution. Thank you.